So if you haven't seen my first episode from this morning, make sure you check it out at some point because, yeah, Blightsteel Colossus may or may not go really well with Nira Wild Mage. But don't leave just yet, because on this episode, I'm going to be talking about a brand new exciting card that is, well, 15 mana. Yeah, that's a ton. So with all that said, let's jump into it. So the brand new high converted mana cost card, or mana value, whatever you want to say, is Earthquake Dragon. This is a 10/10 elemental dragon with Flample, that's flying and trample, that costs 14 and a green. That being said, of course, you can reduce the cost of this spell. It says this spell costs X less to cast, for X is the total mana value of dragons you control. So if you have enough dragons in play with, enough mana value, essentially this could cost, a single green mana, again, for a 10/10 with flying and trample? And on top of that, it does have pay 2 and a green, sacrifice a land, return Earthquake Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. So, once you're set up properly, yeah, you can cast this for very cheaply, in the right deck and in the right situation, and if it's ever dealt with, well, you can just get it back for the low cost of 3 mana and 1 land, yes, but you get back a 10/10 Flampling Elemental Dragon to your hand that you probably can just recast again for 1 mana, again, in the right deck. Now, again, when I do say in the right deck, yeah, probably Dragon Tribal is where this belongs. I mean, it's going to be really difficult to ever cast this if you don't either have a way to cheat it out, or again, unless you've got a way to actually, just, have a ton of dragons in play, which is generally just Dragon Tribal. That being said, this can definitely be a great addition to those decks. Again, a 10/10 Flampler that you can get back, yeah, that's pretty spicy. Or again, I should say a 10/10 Flampler for 1 mana. And every time I say Flampler, that's just starting to sound weirder and weirder. Flying and trample, Flample, you know what I mean. Regardless, now really quick, with this card being revealed, I have a theory. And it might be somewhat of an off-the-wall theory, and it might not pan out, but here we go. Now, in the most recent set since this one with Streets of New Capenna, we got Shadow of Mortality, which is also a 15 mana card, costing 13 black. Now, this one also, had a way to reduce the cost, and the difference is if your life total is less than your starting life total, this costs X less to cast, for X is the difference. Yeah, so you basically can cast this for black, and again, this can be done in a wider variety of decks because, yeah, I mean, if your life total is, 27 in Commander, this costs 2 mana to cast, but still, it's just a 7/7, not a 10/10 Flampler that you can get back. Again, that's beside the point. What is the point, though, is obviously 15 mana value cards are incredibly rare and incredibly unique, or at least they have been. Prior to Shadow Mortality and now Earthquake Dragon, there are only 2 other creatures in Magic, even just 2 other cards in Magic that had a mana value of 15. And those would be Atokthan Worm and Emrakul. But now, in 2 sets, we have double the number of 15 mana value cards. And each of those cards has been a mono-colored card, first being black, then green. So, my prediction, which could be way wrong, but I think we are going to be getting a cycle across sets of 5 creatures, each of which have a converted mana cost of 15, 1 of each color. And most likely they'll have some sort of a cost reduction, and yeah, so we shall see. I think, potentially in the next 3, Masters sets or whatnot, the next 3 sets that actually have new and unique cards, yeah, we shall see a blue one, a white one, and a red one. I could be very wrong on this, and this is beside the point, but it's just something interesting that I thought about, and I thought I would share it with you. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. Again, I could be very wrong. We shall see with the next set coming out. But back to the card itself, I mean, outside of Dragon Tribal, one card that I did want to bring up that can definitely be utilized to help get out Earthquake Dragon is Mere Entity. If you've got a deck built around, either Changelings or, maybe like a Lord Tribal deck where you're working to change all your creatures into, every single creature type or one specific creature type, Mere Entity is a fantastic, part of those decks, and that can help you get out Earthquake Dragon quite easily. Mere Entity is a 1/1 shapeshifter or changeling that has pay X until end of turn. Creatures you control have base power, toughness XX, and gain all creature types. So with Mirror Entity in play, essentially, you just have to pay 1 mana to turn all your creatures into 1/1s of every creature type, and you very well, could have 14 mana value in total between all of your creatures that are now, of course, dragons in addition to everything else, so that could reduce the cost of your Earthquake Dragon by that 14 to just cast it for a single mana. So yeah, a Lord Tribal deck or a Changeling Tribal deck definitely might be a place for this brand new dragon. That being said, yeah, Dragon Tribal is probably where Earthquake Dragon is going to see the most play. In fact, it definitely is. Regardless, I mean, we already have seen some other dragons that actually do have a reduction in cost that have an incredible amount of mana in their cost, like, Draco. Now, Draco doesn't really see much play except in very specific decks, and for good reason. But yeah, I mean, its mana value is, 16, which I think, outside of, unsets, this is the highest converted mana cost of any card in Magic, I believe. Regardless, yeah, this one doesn't see a lot of play. It's a 9/9 flying dragon that costs 2 less to cast for each basic land you control, so essentially, yeah, I mean, this can cost, 6, essentially, still for a 9/9 flyer. No trample, no getting it back, and, yeah, at the beginning of your upkeep, you have the sacrifice Draco unless you pay 10, and of course, that's reduced by each basic land you have by 2, so you could just not have to pay anything for that if you've got all 5 basics. But yeah, our new Earthquake Dragon is, of course, much better than old Draco, except, again, in specific decks that really just care about mana value. That being said, if you get Draco out, you can very easily get your Earthquake Dragon out again for just 1 mana. In a somewhat similar way, Scion of Draco is a 4/4 dragon that costs 12, and it has Domain. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control, and it's got flying. And of course, it also says each creature you control has Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, First Strike if it's red, and Trample if it's green. So this one can be a lot more impactful than Draco, converted mana cost aside. You can cast it for 2. It's a 4/4 flyer that can, benefit your entire team. And yeah, again, if you have this in play, that can reduce the cost of your Earthquake Dragon by 12, making it only cost 3. And yeah, there are other dragons that do have cost reduction, but are, quite a bit smaller, like Obsidian Charmaul. It's a 4/4 flyer as well that costs 3 red, but you're probably never going to pay that, because this spell costs 1 less cast for each land your opponents control that could produce colorless. So this could cost as little as 2 mana, and of course, when it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-basic land opponent controls. That's just a nice addition. Well, for you, your opponents probably won't like that land destruction anyways. Now, outside of these, cost-reducing dragons in a Dragon Tribal deck, though, yeah, Earthquake Dragon can get its cost reduced quite quickly, and yeah, it's very impactful again as a 10/10 flyer that you can just keep getting back if you want to. That being said, outside of its converted mana cost, it also has a very high power, again, a 10/10, so you can take advantage of that with cards like Overwhelming Stampede, Traverse the Outlands, and Rishkar's Expertise. Overwhelming Stampede says, until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, get +X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So with your 10 power Earthquake Dragon in play, all your creatures get +10/+10 in trample until the end of the turn. So yeah, that can turn even your smallest creatures if you happen to have a 1/1 or so in play. Cool, that's an 11/11 trample now. Yeah, this can make your entire army incredibly deadly. And yeah, Earthquake Dragon itself is going to be hitting for 20 in the air with trample. Or, you can take advantage of its power with, Traverse the Outlands. Search your library for X basic land cards, where X the greatest power among creatures you control. Put those cards in the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. 5 mana to ramp 10. Yeah, that's quite powerful. And of course, you can also draw a ton of cards with something like Rishkar's Expertise says draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So yeah, draw 10, and then on top of that, you may cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So obviously, any of these can be a really big swingy play that can be, well, essentially game ending in one way or another. Now, of course, outside of green and cards that benefit based on power, we also do have cards that benefit us based on that high mana value. Rush of Knowledge says, draw cards equal to the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control. So again, draw 15. So pay 5 mana, draw 15 cards. Yeah, that sounds good. Or, in a somewhat lesser way, let's cast Ugin's Insight, which says, scry X, where X is the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control, then draw 3 cards. I mean, that's still an incredibly powerful effect. I mean, not quite as good as Rush of Knowledge, but still. Basically, tutor for 3 cards out of the top 15 cards in your library, and also keep other ones on top if you want. Regardless, very powerful. Now, there are also some other cards that really care about mana value, with cards like Cabal Conditioning, which is brutal, Heretic's Punishment, which is funny, and Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos, which really wishes that Earthquake Dragon was in its color identity. Cabal Conditioning says, any number of target players each discards cards from their hand equal to the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control. Now, this is kind of overkill in a way because, yeah, I highly doubt any of your opponents have 15 cards in their hand. Now, they very well might. Maybe you've got that one player that's got Reliquary Tower and thinks that they're just doing oh so well with the 15 cards in their hand. and then you cast this, and then you're like, 15, each of you, discard, thank you. So yeah, that can be very brutal. Next up, Heretic's Punishment is an enchantment that has pay 3 in red, choose target creature or player, then put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Heretic's Punishment deals damage to that creature or player to the highest converted mana cost among those cards. So yeah, 4 mana, if you happen to hit your Earthquake Dragon off the top 3, cool. Hit someone for 15, or some creature, but most likely someone's face. And keep in mind again, you can also get your Earthquake Dragon back from your graveyard, so yeah, there's that. And again, like I mentioned, I am not sure really what deck, would utilize both Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos, and Earthquake Dragon, but I'm sure there's one out there regardless. Yeah, Hidetsugu really wishes it was in its color identity because it is a legendary creature ogre demon that has pay a black, sacrifice a creature, scry 2, and pay 2 in red, tap, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. So again, someone like Heretic's Punishment, and yeah, hit someone in the face for 15 damage with your Earthquake Dragon. But of course, there are commanders with green in their color identity that can definitely utilize Earthquake Dragon, and one of the first ones that came to my mind was Zeatora the Incinerator. It's a 6/6 demon dragon with flying that costs 3 black, red, and a green, so 6 mana in total, and yeah, again, it being a dragon does reduce the cost of your Earthquake Dragon by 6. Which still makes it cost 9, but still, that's better than nothing. And also, if you've got other dragons in this deck, obviously that can help. Regardless, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Zeatora the Incinerator deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. So essentially, fling your Earthquake Dragon at somebody for a ton of damage. Again, 10 damage, make 3 treasure tokens. And again, if you want to get your Earthquake Dragon back and recast it, great, you can. Next up, of course, the Dragon can help us out as well. A 10/10 dragon avatar for 4 and Wooburg, so 9 mana in total. So if it is in play, it's going to reduce the cost of your Earthquake Dragon by 9, which is very significant. It's still going to cost 6 mana. Well, actually, it's only going to cost 5 because the Dragon has Eminence as long as it's in the command zone on the battlefield. Other dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And of course, this 10/10 flyer also has whenever one of our dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, and you put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. But yeah, for a dragon tribal deck built around the Dragon, you can get dragons out pretty quickly, and yeah, you should have absolutely no problem, even if the Dragon isn't in play, casting Earthquake Dragon for basically, 1 mana. Almost nothing. And yeah, of course, another dragon tribal commander like Sign of the Dragon could also utilize this. A 4/4 dragon avatar with flying that has pay 2, search your library for a dragon permanent card, put in your graveyard. If you do Sign of the Dragon, comes a copy of that card until end of turn, then shelf your library. So with this, obviously you can pay the 2 and go search up that Earthquake Dragon, get it right in your graveyard. This becomes a copy of it, so hit someone for 10 damage, which is lovely, or even more in some circumstances. And yeah, also, by getting Earthquake Dragon into your graveyard, of course, you can also get it back to your hand quite easily. And another scenario might be, well, you've got Earthquake Dragon in your hand and you want to get it out pretty quickly, so yeah, maybe turn Sign of the Dragon into a massive dragon in your deck, or maybe, I should say a massive mana value dragon in your deck, like, Scion of Draco or something like that, to heavily reduce the cost of your Earthquake Dragon to get it out. And finally, of course, there is a dragon tribal commander that can actually help you cast this new card for free, completely free, with Morophon the Boundless. Morophon is a 6/6 shapeshifter with changeling that says, as it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spells you cast the chosen type cost Wooburg less to cast. Effect reduces only amount of colored mana you pay, and other creatures you control the chosen type get ++1. So yeah, choose dragon, and yeah, in your dragon tribal Morophon deck, have fun. Earthquake Dragon, of course, is going to be reduced by 7 mana thanks to Morophon at the very least. Also, you're going to be able to have other dragons in play, I am sure. And yeah, if you've got 14 total mana value of dragons in play, your Earthquake Dragon will cost nothing, because again, Morophon also reduces that green in the cost to nothing. So have fun getting out your 10/10 Flampling Dragon for free. But yeah, at the end of the day, a very interesting card. Again, you don't see too many creatures out there with this high of a mana value, anywhere near this high of a mana value. And again, this might be, for the most part, for very specific decks. For dragon tribal decks for the most part. But there are other decks out there that could utilize it. Again, Lord's Tribal, Changeling Tribal, etc., 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 could utilize a card like this. And of course, on top of that, with this card being spoiled, now that's got me thinking we might see a cycle of 15-mana cards across sets, one of each color. I think that could be a really exciting thing, so only time will tell. Correct me below in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe the next set that is actually going to have, new cards, not as a Masters or reprint set, is going to be Dominaria United, so maybe we'll see, either blue, white or red 15 mana spell in that. So we shall see. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. And of course, I could be very wrong on that, but regardless, make sure that you are staying tuned to this channel for even more exciting quick takes and spoilers and weird theories like that one. And with that, the show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.